Hello! We are really winding down fast. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving break, and I know for some of you, you probably did some traveling. Others of you, you were the hosts and hostesses of your family gatherings. Maybe you don't have family in the area and you do something. We used to not have so much family time as much as we would hang out with families that didn't have family in town. That was our kind of our Thanksgiving thing. Mostly, um, what I always think of when I come back from Thanksgiving is it's a little bit exhausting, right? So you're coming into this week probably a little bit tired and looking at all the things you have to do between now and the holiday weeks ahead, or the holiday ahead. Um, what I want you to remember this week is that you do have all week to polish your final draft before I grade it. And even after I grade it, you're going to have time to go back in and edit as you wish based on my comments so that you can turn in your final draft to turn it in to the school's writing portfolio for you, and that you can be proud of your final project. That's going to be really important. A couple things I want you to keep in mind as you're drafting, just some basics. Remember, your introduction should end with your thesis statement. Your thesis statement should answer the question, so what? So for example, if I'm going to say that we need to have, we need, laws need to be amended about hunting season, that's an argument, but you don't really know why I'm saying that. You don't really know the position I'm taking. You don't know if I'm against hunting or for hunting. So you need to make sure that you're really clear in your thesis statement so that your reader doesn't get surprised or is not going on a treasure hunt looking for what you're trying to talk about. Okay? We're going to lay out the plan right away in the thesis statement. The second thing to remember is that each topic sentence, you should be able to read through each topic sentence of each paragraph, and it should line back up with the thesis. It should even have some of the same words. Don't feel like that's bad repetition. There's good repetition in writing. So, for example, if I'm going to say something about, okay, maybe my position is that we need further educational reform, allowing students to choose whatever public school they want to attend. Then my first paragraph might be, currently students cannot attend any public school they wish. Okay, do you see how the wording would overlap there? Okay, you get the idea, hopefully. So each topic sentences don't have to be the very first sentence of a paragraph, but you want to be very deliberate with that first sentence of a paragraph. I encourage you to not start with a quote or support piece there. I encourage you to start with your main idea there and then lead. So I do believe that maybe a topic sentence at the top of the paragraph might be your best design. Also, since this is a longer paper, you can even consider creating subtitles in your paper to kind of help establish that this chunk of the paper is background, this chunk is an action plan, this chunk, whatever. So you can consider doing that. That's a good plan for a longer paper. The next item I want you to really be mindful of is careful citations. I know I keep emphasizing this, but remember, you're going to cite whenever there's a statistic. Basically, anytime you have a number that's not obvious, okay? Like, you don't have to cite that the War of 1812 was fought in 1812, okay? But for things that are, 1 in 10 girls develop eating disorders, that would be something you cite. Okay, the second thing that you're going to cite is obviously direct quotes. I've had some students in the past think that if they quote something, they don't have to cite it, and I've had some students think they only cite when they quote. Both of those are wrong, but you do need to cite and quote. The third time that you're going to cite is to show that the information that you're using can be found in a source. Part of the reason we do cite paraphrasing or things that we put in our own words is to give credit to the source it originated with. And even if I knew the information going into it, I'm going to cite it because it also shows that my work can be verified by a published source. So think of it that way. You're verifying. You're allowing somebody else to take your work and do further research on it and develop the idea further. And of course, they would cite you as well. Okay, anything that's cited needs to be on the works cited page, and whatever is first in the parentheses is the first thing listed on the works cited page. So if it's the author's last name, then the author's last name is the first thing we see on the works cited page. Never use just the URL for an internal citation or a works cited page. It does incorporate into the works cited page, but it should never show up in your internal citations. Okay, those are just a few tips, things that I notice. As I'm reading papers, feel free to try to get another student to edit your paper again this week. It's not for a grade, but if you want to solicit some editing advice from one another this week, I would recommend that. That'd be a great idea. And then finally, you'll notice that I have turnitin.com in parentheses, and I've been promising all semester that I would get that information to you, and I do have that for you. Just read through the email. I will give you the login that we're under, and then the password as well. So they're both very similar. There's a spacing issue. The login is comp2, the number 2, not the Roman numeral, with a space, and the password is comp2, no space. Okay, so it wouldn't let me put a space in. I wanted to have them identical, and yeah, best laid plans, right? Hey, you have a great week. Make sure you email me with questions, and remember that there is a little cushion built in here. Well, this draft that you're doing for this week's deadline is your graded draft. Your portfolio draft is not due for another week to the school, and that's actually something that the school will keep you accountable to, not me, but I hope that helps you out a little bit. If you have any questions, again, write, let me know, and I'll keep in touch, okay? Bye-bye.